Hello, everyone. I'm home again sick. I've had bronchitis. I've never had this before. It's not pneumonia, but at night I have coughing fits that keep me up, and it's horrible. During the day, I seem to be better and have hope, and then at night it starts again. This is the third week. They say it's like 30 days for this stuff, which is crazy. So I know it's not pneumonia. I've had x-rays, etc. I just got to get through this. So any prayers for those of you who have been listening or pray, or anybody who drops by who prays, please pray that I get over this. I would appreciate it. I've been thinking a lot lately. Turns out I was right about 5 years ago. And we all know what that was about. But believe you me, and I'm going to say this again, I was hoping I was wrong. But I can't state how important it is that I stood my ground. I cannot state how important that was. Not just for health reasons, but because I trusted myself. I had a lot of doubt, but I still stood my ground. I was taught growing up to be seen and not heard, that I didn't know anything. I'm not as smart as I think I am. I don't know anything. I'm not in the medical field. I don't know anything. I'm not in whatever field. That was the mantra of my life. But I stood my ground. I always stood my ground. My mother was a drug addict. I stood my ground. I protected my siblings. I protected myself as much as possible. But it still cost me greatly. And I guess I was prepared for 5 years ago. Also, somewhere before 2012, I have to go back into my videos. A lot of them I put on private, but I was videoing these lines in the sky. My better half can attest to me saying something. He didn't buy what I was saying, but one day there was because he grew up near an airport, and he said, you know, those are contrails. And I said, no, they're not. And you have to look away from the airport and see what I'm talking about. We were driving one day, and I pointed up in the sky, and there was an X as plain as day. And I looked up in the sky, and I said, is that what you saw all the time, all over the place? And he just kind of looked at it. He didn't say anything, and I dropped it. And then I don't know how much longer later. It could have been a half a year, I don't know. But the man does listen to what I say, even though he might not believe me at the time. And I'm not a nagger or a harper. I just drop seeds. And then one day he pointed up in the sky. He goes, there's another one of your exes. And that was his way of confirming what he heard from me. I don't know if he's heard in the mainstream narrative about these chemtrails, geoengineering. But he's fixing ready to find out I was right about that too. And the only reason I'm right is because I was observant, and I'm old enough to remember. It wasn't like that. I'm old enough to remember the 80s and the AIDS epidemic with Fauci in charge. I'm old enough. And even though I have 3 degrees, I also have common sense. I guess I'm rare. I actually know how to fix a carburetor, repair furniture. Jack of all trades, master of none, right? But I have a memory, and I have this ability to see patterns. I also have spatial ability. I know, like, how to pack something, and you have so many items, and is it going to really fit? I can tell you before you even get started if it's going to fit, and I can figure out how it will fit and what will be left out. I mean, it's weird. I also picked up sewing 2 years ago with no formal training except for seventh grade home ec, and I make a little extra money altering clothes. I don't know why I have that ability. I have looked at some YouTube videos, but that's about it. It's strange, some of the things that I know. Now, there are a lot of things I don't know. I am not a know-it-all. There are things I don't know. It's why I'm with who I'm with. He knows how to tinker and figure things out, and he's like a MacGyver with stuff, fixing stuff. I wish I had all of that knowledge, but I don't. Maybe I could figure it out, but it would take me more time and a lot of frustration. But what's happened really is that these generations have been taught not to respect their elders. All of this started falling apart with my parents, the baby boomers. And we came right behind them, Gen X, and we tried to fix things, but so many things were broken, including us being raised by the baby boomers. We saw things were wrong. We thought we weren't damaged, but we were. And my children never listened to this. I want to apologize to them for everything I got wrong. But I never stopped trying, and I changed things. I changed myself in a lot of ways, but sometimes not soon enough. I was a bad picker when it came to partners. Bad picker. But I got it together, just, sometimes not soon enough. I did the best I could with what I knew and what I had. And sometimes it was all on my own because I couldn't rely on the other person. But I'm worried about the world and the people behind us who aren't going to be able to see. I hope all of the truth comes out on all of this. It's going to be really ugly on the things I suspect. There has been something I've been looking into called the Little Season, which is interesting. The little season is what happens after Revelation happens. There's a little season after the 1,000-year reign of Christ. And I've been looking at, where are we in this timeline? Have we been lied to about where we're at? And there's a lot to be said for this theory. And I'm still going to look at it because the apostles thought that Jesus and what Jesus said to them and what Paul mentioned is that he was going to be coming back in their lifetime. That's what it seems to imply. And sometimes it's pretty direct in the scripture. I mean, after he was resurrected and gone off the earth, these men went through hell with the promise that some of them would still be alive when he came back, is what it implies. I'm not going to get out the scripture and go and read it, but what I'm telling you is it's another rabbit hole I'm down. It would explain all this Tartaria theories, that these buildings were built during the 1,000-year reign, sometimes if not before. like the Roman buildings were built before, but then you have the Gothic looking ones that were built during this medieval time that we can't even do that today. I don't know. There's a lot to look at. But either way, it doesn't negate Christianity. It doesn't negate the belief in God and Jesus Christ. But it certainly helps explain some of the gaps in our history. I don't know. It's something I'm considering. Anyway, I just wanted you to know that I'm still here. 2 videos ago, there were like 99 views, which is like unheard of for me. I only have like 10, usually at the most. Probably people who've been with me a long time or somebody just happens by. But for those who have been with me and listen, do know that I'm watching things. I'm trying to see the patterns. I'm trying to understand. And I will share everything I can when I can. Hopefully, I won't have to say code words like we have over the years. Anyway, I'm paying attention. And I want the best for all of us and our children. I want to be able to go and have a peace in my heart that my children have a chance. But with everything that they put in front of us, just be very careful on what you believe. You know, are the UFOs or UAPs us, or is it something else? Just be very careful on what it is that you believe. For many of the MSMs. So, don't be fooled. Because being fooled has cost people a lot. And I'm trying not to be fooled. And if any of you ever have anything you want to share, please put it down in the comments. I'd be glad to know and read. Because we're all still learning, always. Love to you all. Bye for now.